Hello everybody, today we're going to be doing another tea review. This time we will be reviewing Tea Viver's Yunnan Organic Pu'er Loose Leaf Tea. If you're just getting into Pu'er Tea or you're a little curious about this subject, please watch on and see whether you should buy this tea. More information about Pu'er Tea before we hop in. So Pu'er Tea is not really known in like the conventional Western like cafe because it's hard to distinguish like what it is. Is it a green tea or is it a black tea? And the answer is it falls somewhere in between. There's elements of both that you'll find in there. So in terms of green tea, it is made out of like the same leaf. Before it's fermented, it's made out of the same leaf that green tea would use. But the ratios on the tea is a little different. For instance, green tea is made with 1 bud and about 4 leaves. Meanwhile, this Pu'er Tea is made about with 1 bud and 2 leaves. So that's where it differs. And it's kind of like a black tea because it's been fermented. Oftentimes, there's a heavy emphasis on fermentation when doing Pu'er Teas. It's not uncommon to see 10-year or even 12-year fermented tea on the market. So, hopefully this gives you guys like a direction to think about this tea, or it gives you like marker points to figure out what this tea is exactly about. But if you just want the like too long didn't watch version of it, you just need to know it's been fermented a lot and it's been aged a lot, and that's what makes Pu'er Tea Pu'er Tea. So let's talk about the organic part of this tea. So when you go to your local grocery store and you buy an organic fruit or vegetable, you have to pay a premium. But for tea, it's not always worth paying this premium. Most tea farms don't go through the process of being organically certified because it's a very long and expensive process. This doesn't mean they use pesticides. In fact, you don't want to buy tea with pesticides. It's pretty bad, and most of your distributors, like your online sellers, will have tests to ensure that you won't get sold tea. The big ones, at least. For the smaller ones, it might be a little sketchy. But a good reason why tea farmers don't want this organic certification is it takes a lot of time and money, and it's sometimes not worth the effort because a lot of these tea farms, before they even harvest the tea, they already have plans to distribute. So getting this certified doesn't exactly help them sell any more product because oftentimes by the time they actually harvest, they've already allocated the tea to be sold at these shops. So that's why it might not be seen as worth paying a premium, because if someone pays a premium, actually might be seen, or if someone labels their tea organic, it can actually be seen as a bad sign. It shows that their tea can't really stand up on its own and they need like an extra label on the tea to get people to buy it. The actual tea. This is Tea Viver's Organic Yunnan Ripened Loose Pu'er Tea. It was harvested in August 2016 at Tuanjie Dajai Tea Garden. This is a Pu'er Tea and been certified organic by EcoCert SA. While we're waiting for my water to boil, I just want to give you guys like what the tea looks like and the general atmosphere of the tea before we head into brewing it. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, it's just like a bunch of like very loose a conglomerate of tea. What is that? As for the smell, you get like a deep, you get like a fishy smell. You don't really smell it like when you open the bag or like it's just out here. You have to get your nose really close to it. This is because it's only been like a 4-year ferment. For other teas, like the second you open the bag up, you can smell it. This one you have to get kind of close to it. And that fishy smell is like your fermentation smell. Guys, so right now I just did my first rinse and I'm now going to do my first steep. Typically for puers, you can do a lot more steeps than you can with other types of tea. I've gotten up to like 10 to 15 steeps on some. So today, but the thing about these steeps are they're very short, and until you get into like that 10 or 15 range, it's really easy to just, you don't even need a timer sometimes, you can just kind of guesstimate. So we're brewing this at 212 degrees Celsius, Fahrenheit, 212 degrees Fahrenheit, boiling. Typically this isn't advised for like white teas or something like that. You don't ever want to boil, but for puas it works perfectly. As you can see, it's all boiling. So first rinse. So I'm gonna let this steep for about 10 seconds, but like I can't show you right now because I don't want to spill it. But it's right now, it has a really deep dark color, and you guys are gonna be able to see it once I pour it out. And that's about 10 seconds. Let's go. Yeah, so like right off the bat, you're gonna get this like this barky, smoky flavor, like this barky, smoky scent, and like kind of smells like spiced wood, maybe like a spice cedar wood, but that's just the smell. As you can see, you get that beautiful like dark amber brown color that comes with like a good Pu'er tea. So I'm going to try a little of it, and I'll let you guys know what I think of the first steep. Yeah, so you're gonna get that like spiced wood flavor. Very woody, very like cedary. That's what I like. That's a wood I think it tastes like. It's like a light mouthfeel for a Pu'er tea. I think it's like for any other tea it would be like a medium mouthfeel, but for Pu'er teas I would think this is definitely on the lower end. The description on TeaBuyer says there's like a sucrose flavor to it. I'm not picking up any hints of that. I think that might come later in the steeping, but for now, your first steep, you're not gonna have any astringency. That's a good thing. You're not gonna have any bitterness, but I don't taste any of that sweetness and that like that oak wood, that cedar wood, spice cedar wood, smoky flavor is really all I'm tasting. Hopefully, as we try this tea, this is going to develop more. But I'll see you guys on the other side of my 15/10 steeps. Guys, so I've done all the steepings. You probably saw in the montage. But here's our final one. As you can see, the color has been getting a little darker, but at the same time, like in those later steepings, it was starting to line up again because of the actual leaves like losing potency. Right now we have that like dark amber color that we really enjoy. Same spiced wood, same spiced wood, cedar, like that dark smoky flavor. And I'm gonna try it here. Same thing, I'm still tasting like, the same notes of spiced wood, cedar, smokiness. It tastes almost exactly like how it smells. I mean, I'm sure that's no coincidence. Most of our taste buds, like most of our impressions of food comes from the smell. But for tea, it's exactly like almost 1-to-1. Later on, I did taste that sweetness that I heard like they were talking about. It comes in at the very end. So like when you first sip the tea, you get that nice, deep, smoky, spiced wood, cedar flavor. And then as you let it like sit in your mouth and you let it go down your throat, that's when you start tasting like the sucrose flavor. Yeah. No, overall, I didn't notice any big differences from steep 1 to steep 15. Only thing I would say that changed really is like the intensity of the flavors, but that normally happens in tea when you have the longer steeping times. So, onto like the final review onto like the final, like, should you buy this? If this is your first Pu'er tea, really like this is your first time ever having it, you never had this before, and you kind of want to know what it is, I would say this is a possible buy for you. I would do a little more searching before deciding on this one. You might find better deals because it is $13.90. So that's around 14 cents a gram for 100 grams. And for that price point, you could get a lot better tea, a lot more dynamic tea. So it might be worth, like this is your very first time, you want to try it, you want to make sure it's organic. This might be the thing for you, but if you more experienced, you want something more dynamic, or maybe you had like Pu'er tea at a friend's house before, and you don't want to, and you want to try something new, this it really isn't for you. It's really for beginners, and even for beginners, it is going to be like pricey or not exactly pricey, but there are better buys out there that might be worth it. And I know for beginners, it might be intimidating to buy the tea cake and like open it up and mess with it, but I really do recommend trying to like getting out of that comfort zone of just loose leaf tea and like just buying the cake. And I think it's going to be a much better value buying that 357 gram cake that you're going to enjoy over a flat tea that's enjoyable but not really dynamic. So to recap, buy this tea if you're a beginner, you really want to try it, you don't know what you're getting into. This is a very good stepping stone. If you're beyond that stone, or you're thinking of you want to try something new and you've already know the flavor profile of this, I would recommend looking harder, buying a tea cake, move away from that loose leaf Pu'er tea, because honestly that's like very beginner. I think most of the time you are going to have to like get it out of a cake. So that wrapped up my review of Tea Byler's organic Yunnan ripened Pu'er tea. If you like this review, leave a like, subscribe. If you want to learn more about Pu'er tea, I'll have a video in the future right here. And if you tasted this tea or you just have a question about Pu'er tea, feel free to leave a comment. It helps with channel engagement and I really appreciate it.